Hey guys, if you are able to hear me, quickly give a thumbs up in the chat box. I hope all of you are good. And I'm expecting same kind of response you gave yesterday in this session as well. Very good evening, Sarita, Lakshmi, Nilesh, Ajay, Anshu. It's really good to see you guys again. And I hope you have the same feeling. Yeah, good evening, Vinayak. Just give me a thumbs up if it's audible and everything is fine. Okay, great, Vinayak. So guys, again today we have this session in which we are going to discuss some of the important MCQs on commerce and accountancy for your upcoming SEBI Grade A examination. So in the previous session जो questions हमने discuss किए, they were like more on the basic part of accountancy, and today we are going to move forward. We are going to discuss MCQs based on cash flow statement, fund flow statement, and some related aspects of accounting. Okay, yeah, great. Okay, Radhe Radhe. That's also good. And guys, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe to it and do join our Telegram channel for regular updates. And we are also having this flat 50% off on all the courses which you can avail. So now let's quickly jump on to the first question. And let's see कि किसका response सबसे पहले आता है. Let's see who's the most active member today. So first question आपकी screen पे आ चुका है. Which accounting standard deals with the preparation of cash flow statement? A very simple question. फटाफट से आंसर्स दीजिए. Okay, Anshu is saying good to go. So we have already started. So बताइए क्या आंसर होना चाहिए इस पहले सवाल का. Cash flow statement. It's an easy one. सीए केशव महेश्वरी जी ने तो फटाफट से आंसर दे दिया होगा और सभी ने आंसर दे दिया फटाफट से ऑप्शन नंबर बी. तो सभी के आंसर्स आ रहे हैं अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 3. सर ये अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड होते क्या हैं? तो प्यारे दोस्तों कुछ ऐसा है, हमारी गवर्नमेंट चाहती है कि हमारी जो अकाउंटिंग हो रही है तो वो कुछ स्टैंडर्डाइज तरीके से होनी चाहिए. इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक दैट कि enterprise A is going to prepare its account in some sort of way, enterprise B is going to prepare its accounts in another sort of way. So there should be a standardization so that an investor, he or she can compare the accounts of different companies and he or she can make the different investment decisions. So that's why we have tried to standardize the accounting by issuing these accounting standards. So clearly the answer to this question, as we have rightly pointed out, it is accounting standard 3. We are going to talk more about accounting standards in this video only, so don't worry about that. Accounting standard 3 talks about the cash flow statement. So basically this is a statement which is concerned with depicting the inflows and outflows of the cash. So any company is going to have inflow of the cash, it is going to sell goods or services, it is going to make some income on the investments that it have made. Similarly, it is going to make payments to its suppliers. So these inflows and outflows, they are going to form the part of the cash flow statement. So answer is option B. Now let's quickly move on to the next question. Yes, it includes these 3 activities. I'm going to talk about them as well. CA Utkarsh Mishra, don't worry about it. Brilliant minds, we are going to talk about the accounting standards which are there in your syllabus, so don't worry about it. Now let's come to the next question. Which of the following would not be considered as application of cash while preparing the cash flow statement? So application, it basically means outflow. Okay, so we can have inflow of the cash and we can have outflow of cash. So here we are asking about the outflow of the cash, यानी कि कैश की पेमेंट के बारे में आपसे पूछ रहे हैं. I'm getting the answer is option number D and E. So there is a confusion. D और E में confusion चल रहा है. आपको बताना है इनमें से कौन सा outflow of the cash नहीं है. There is this not word in this particular question. Okay, so just be careful about the words which are there in the question. Sometimes not word can be there. तो आपको बताना है कि कौन सा आउटफ्लो नहीं है. अगेन डी और ई में कंफ्यूजन चल रहा है. चलिए अगर हम प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स की रिडम्पशन कर रहे हैं तो प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स आर बेसिकली अ काइंड ऑफ शेयर्स. वी कैन हैव इक्विटी शेयर्स. तो इक्विटी शेयर्स दे आर द नॉर्मल ओनर्स ऑफ द कंपनी, बट प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स दे हैव दिस प्रेफरेंस इन टर्म्स ऑफ द payment of the dividend and at the time of the repayment of the capital at the time of winding up of the company. So if you are repaying money to the preference shares, this is an outflow of the cash. If you are purchasing investments, this is an outflow of cash. If you are paying dividend, it is also outflow of the cash. If you are issuing the shares, then it is going to be inflow of the cash. So issuing the shares is going to be inflow of the cash. आपको ऑपरेशंस में नुकसान हो गया, लॉस हो गया, सो इट मे कनोट कि आपका कैश का आउटफ्लो ज्यादा हो रहा है, बट क्लियरली ऑप्शन नंबर डी इज द परफेक्ट आंसर हियर. सो ऑप्शन डी इज गोइंग टू बी द आंसर. राइट, अगर आप शेयर्स इशू कर रहे हैं, इफ यू आर इशूइंग न्यू शेयर्स इन द मार्केट, यू आर कमिंग अप विद एन आईपीओ, तो आपके पास कैश आएगा. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ सोर्स ऑफ कैश, इट इज गोइंग टू बी एन इनफ्लो ऑफ द कैश. ओके, नाउ लेट्स क्विकली मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. चलिए, now let's raise the bar of the questions. Let's raise the level of the questions. Okay, Lakshmi, we are going to use more of English. Don't worry about it. So we have this question in preparation of cash flow statement. Which of the following would be an example of cash equivalent? So let's see who can answer this one. I'm waiting for your responses. So guys, in the cash flow statement, we are basically concerned with movement of cash and cash equivalent. Okay, we will try to be bilingual. Don't worry. Vinayak is saying option E, but some people, they are saying option B as well. So there is some sort of confusion. So let me just make it clear to you guys कि जो कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट है, इट इज बेसिकली कंसर्न्ड विद द फ्लो ऑफ कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट. ओके, सो व्हाट इज कैश? It is defined कि cash includes cash in hand, so whatever money that you have in your hand, and your demand deposits with the bank. So if you have like a current account or saving account with the bank, you can anytime go to the bank and demand your money. Okay, so they are going to be cash, but we are also using the term cash equivalent here. So what are cash equivalent? So it is defined कि they are short term highly liquid investments which you can easily convert into cash without an insignificant amount of risk. So suppose if you are having shares of Reliance with you, Infosys with you, you can anytime sell those shares and get the money on those shares. So they are going to be cash equivalents. You are having some security with a very short maturity payment. So here it is specified कि 3 months or less. So अगर आपके पास 3 months or less की कोई security है, so again it is going to be a part of cash equivalent. So now this question was about which of the following is cash equivalent. Okay, so C and D, they are basically part of cash, they are not cash equivalent. So that's why the answer is going to be option number E, both A and B above. Okay, so that's why the answer is going to be option number E, both A and B above. तो अगर आपने प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स को एक्वायर किया बिफोर देयर रिडम्पशन, और अगर आपके पास कोई बैंक डिपॉजिट्स हैं विद अ शॉर्ट मेच्योरिटी पीरियड, यू कैन कॉल देम कैश इक्विवेलेंट्स. दे आर नॉट कैश बट दे आर इक्विवेलेंट टू कैश. So we are concerned with the flow of cash and cash equivalent in the cash flow statement. Okay, now let's come to the next question and let's see who can calculate this. Who can calculate this one? Let's see. Let's see who among us is good at calculation. Okay, so we are being asked find out the cash flow from the operating activities. So we are given this information कि हमारे पास कैश रिसीट्स फ्रॉम सेल ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज इट इज 5 लाख, कैश पेमेंट टू सप्लायर्स ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज इट इज 2 लाख, कैश पेमेंट टू एम्प्लॉइज इट इज 0.5 लाख, कैश रिसीट्स फ्रॉम सेल ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट इट इज 1.5 lakh. So whenever we talk about cash flow statement, I'm getting the answers as option number C, which are perfectly right, which are perfectly fine. So when we are preparing the cash flow statement, what we are trying to do? Now one way can be you simply specify कि these are the inflows of cash and these are the outflows of cash. But here we try to analyze the cash flow in terms of 3 activities. First one is your core operations, your operating activities. Second is your investing activities. A company may have invested money somewhere else. It may have bought some shares, some debentures of other company. It may have bought some furniture, some other assets. So they are going to come under investing activity. and then we have the cash from financing activity. So a company is going to finance its operations maybe by issuing the shares, maybe taking a loan from the market. So these all transactions, they are going to come under the financing activity. So now here we are being asked about the operating activity. तो operating activity में आपकी क्या चीज आने वाली है? अगर आपको सेल ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज से कोई रिसीट्स हुई है, सो 5 लाख इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. आपने पेमेंट किया 2 लाख का, इट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. 0.5 लाख आपने इंप्लॉइज को पे किया, इट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. बट आपने प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट इक्विपमेंट को सेल किया, इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी एन ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटी, रेदर इट इज गोइंग टू बी an investing activity. So these are all the investments that the company has made. So they are not related to the core operations. They are going to come under investing activity. So that's why if we are going to do this calculation, 5 inflow minus 2 minus 0.5, this is going to come out to 2.5 lakhs. So answer is going to be option number C. Most of you guys were perfectly fine. Yes, Vinayak, the last one was investing activity. Now we have this next question. All of the following would be shown as part of cash flow from financing activities except. Let's see who can answer this one. So I've already explained कि cash flow statement के अंदर we have 3 types of activities: operating, investing and financing. तो यहां पे हमसे पूछ रहे हैं कि all of these are financing, but one of these is not financing. You have to identify which is not financing. Vinayak, Sonia, Nikhil and Kiran, आप absolutely correct हैं, but some people they are saying answer is option number E. Now I know कि you are going to have this confusion, so let's try to resolve this confusion. Okay, so we have understood operating activity, we are confused between investing and financing. Now investing is going to be concerned with whatever investment the company has made. Okay, so suppose we are talking about a company. Let's suppose we are talking about A Limited. A Limited is a company. So A Limited is going to raise finance from the shareholders. If it is going to issue the shares to raise the finance, it is going to come here. Okay, if it is going to pay dividend to these shareholders, it is going to come here. If it is going to take a long-term loan to finance its operations, it is going to come here. But now let's suppose A Limited has some surplus cash with it. Now this surplus cash is to be invested somewhere. Now suppose this A Limited acquires the shares of Reliance Limited. It acquires the share of Infosys. Okay, so what are these? They are the investments which have been made by A Limited. So they are going to be classified as investing activity. So now in option number D, it is specified cash receipt from sale of equity or debt instrument of other entity. Other entity बोले तो Reliance या Infosys. तो अगर आपने इनके shares को sale किया तो they are going to come under the investing activity. They are not financing. Okay, the top 3 options, if you are issuing the shares, if you have borrowed some money, you are repaying it, if you have issued debentures, so they are all long-term sources of finance, so it is going to be part of the financing activity. So clearly the answer is going to be option number D. So now I hope your confusion is clear. Okay, I hope your confusion is clear, right? Should we move forward? Yes, we should move forward. Yes, अगर आप अपनी कंपनी के शेयर्स को आप इशू कर रहे हो, सो दे आर पार्ट ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग, बट आप अदर कंपनी के शेयर्स में डील कर रहे हो, सो इट मींस कि यू हैव इन्वेस्टेड सम मनी इन द शेयर्स ऑफ अनदर कंपनी, सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी पार्ट ऑफ द इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटी. सो आई होप इट्स क्लियर. लेट्स ट्राई टू मेक दिस डिस्कशन मोर इंटरेक्टिव. मुझे लग रहा है कि आज थोड़े से क्वेश्चंस का लेवल देख के आप कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं, तो ऐसा कंफ्यूजन आपको बिल्कुल नहीं करना. DECD ऐसे कंफ्यूजन मुझे चैट बॉक्स में दिख रहे हैं, एंड आई डोंट वांट यू गाइस टू गेट कंफ्यूज्ड. इफ एनीथिंग इज नॉट क्लियर, जस्ट सिंपली मेंशन इन द चैट बॉक्स एंड वी विल बी हैप्पी टू कवर इट अगेन. If it is a short-term loan, it is going to be part of current liability. Okay, then current liability, it is basically going to form part of the working capital changes under operating activities. Now I'm getting the answer is option number B and E. So B और E में confusion है, so let's try to solve it. So now यहाँ पे हमसे पूछ रहे हैं कि कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटी कितना होगा. आप बताइए जी, ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटी कौन सी होती है? सर, यू हैव ऑलरेडी मेड इट क्लियर कि जो भी हमारे मेन ऑपरेशन से जुड़ी हुई हैं, they are going to be operating activity. Now there are 2 ways I can compute this cash from operating activity. One is the direct method. So direct method we have already seen it कि what we were doing, we were seeing कि कैश सेल से हमें कितना मिला, हमें जो परचेज हमने करी, जो सप्लायर्स को पेमेंट करी, उसमें कैश का कितना आउटफ्लो हुआ, एम्प्लॉइज को कितनी सैलरी पे करी, एंड अदर ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंसेस उनको इंडिविजुअली हम यहां पे देख सकते हैं. Now practically this is not followed, this direct method is not followed because it's very cumbersome to follow this method. Practically if you are going to open the financials of any company, you are going to see कि cash flow जो operating activity से compute किया गया है, it is done using the indirect method. Now what is this indirect method? So what we do, we take the figure of net profit. So net profit has been earned from the operations of the company, but this figure of net profit is adulterated. There are some items in this figure which do not relate to the operations of the company, and there may be some items which are not related to cash. For example, if an entity has sold something at a loss, this net profit would also include loss on that particular asset, loss on sale of that asset. Similarly, the depreciation. If we bought any asset and we are using it for 5 years, we are going to depreciate a small amount every year. Now this depreciation is a non-cash expense, so this depreciation is also going to be adjusted from net profit. So if we have to arrive at the figure of cash profit, we would have to make certain adjustments, and after making these adjustments we are going to find out the cash flow from the operating activity. So if we have made some loss on sale, we would have reduced it from the net profit, we are going to add it back. Similarly, if we have reduced the depreciation, we would be adding it back to arrive at the cash portion of our profits. Okay, so this is what we have to do in this particular problem. Okay, so this is what we have to do. Net profit we are given 23,000, 4,000 is depreciation, loss on sale of assets is 2,000, so we simply have to add all these and the answer is going to come out to option number B. So answer is going to come out to option number B, 29,000. Okay. Yes, Ashish has very rightly pointed out कि we have to add non-cash and non-operating. Nisha is asking कि अगर आपने amount borrow किया था तो उसकी repayment financing में क्यों आएगा? तो जब आपने amount borrow किया था तो you classified it as a financing activity. Now when you are repaying it, it is again going to be a financing activity. Okay, Nisha? So ऐसे classification change नहीं होगा. लेते समय और देते समय सेम ही क्लासिफिकेशन रहेगा निशा. ओके, एड नॉन कैश एंड नॉन ऑपरेटिंग. ओके, ब्रिलियंट माइंड्स, आई होप इट्स क्लियर. इफ इट्स क्लियर, just move on to the next question. If it's not clear, we can resolve it at the end. Okay, so this question is, from the following information calculate net cash which is used in investing activities. Investing activities, बताइए. So I've already explained to you. I am not able to get your point, brilliant minds. What add? Add means you have to like plus it. Yeah, Nisha is saying okay. So now let's see if you can answer this next question. So let me try to solve this question and you try to solve it on your own. So in this question we are given कि यहाँ पे हमने ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज में कैश यूज किया 3,09,000, फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटीज में यहाँ पे हमने कैश यूज किया 30,000. सो यहाँ पे कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट्स का ओपनिंग और क्लोजिंग बैलेंस भी हमें दे दिया, और अब यहाँ पे पूछ रहे हैं कि इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज से कितना अमाउंट हुआ होगा. सो इफ वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग दिस कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट, जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट कि हमारे पास ओपनिंग में 35,000 कैश था और ड्यूरिंग द ईयर हमने डिफरेंट ऑपरेशंस किए, डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज करी, उससे कैश जनरेट हुआ. तो वी आर बीइंग टोल्ड कि ऑपरेशन से हमारा 3,09,000 कैश जनरेट हुआ, एंड वी आर बीइंग टोल्ड कि हमारे पास फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटीज में 30,000 कैश जो है वो यूटिलाइज हो गया, यूज हो गया, यानी कि वी वुड रिड्यूस इट. सो 30,000 वी वुड हैव टू रिड्यूस इट, एंड अल्टीमेटली एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर वी हैव दिस कैश ऑफ 2,12,000 ओनली. ओके, 2,12,000 ही हमारे पास कैश है. तो होना कितना चाहिए था? 35,000 में 3,09,000 आप ऐड कीजिए, सो दिस वुड कम टू 344. इसमें से आप 30,000 लेस कर दीजिए, 30,000 आप लेस कर देंगे, सो इट इज गोइंग टू कम आउट टू 3,14,000. तो 314 होना चाहिए था, बट वी हैव 2,12,000. सो बाकी का 1,02,000 कहां पे गया? बाकी का 1,02,000 जो बचा, इट इज गोइंग टू बी यूज्ड इन द फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटी, इट इज गोइंग टू बी यूज्ड इन इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटी. सो दिस इज द बैलेंसिंग फिगर दैट वी हैव फाउंड आउट हियर. This is the balancing figure that we have found out here. So answer is going to be option number A, and I hope you guys have understood how we have calculated this one. Many of you have answered option number A, and this is perfectly fine. जिन्होंने नहीं आंसर किया, just tell me whether you have got it or not. Okay, just let me know whether you have got it or not. Service engineering is asking why add in the last question. So last question में हमने add इसीलिए किया था क्योंकि हमें नेट प्रॉफिट की फिगर दे रखी थी. सो इफ यू आर गिवन दिस फिगर ऑफ नेट प्रॉफिट, दिस नेट प्रॉफिट इज अराइव्ड एट, हाउ दिस फिगर इज अराइव्ड एट, योर सेल माइनस योर ऑल एक्सपेंसेस. ओके, दिस इज योर रेवेन्यू, this is your turnover minus all the expenses. This is going to include some non-cash expenses. This is going to include some expenses which are not related to your operations. Okay, and ultimately this figure of net profit is going to be arrived at. So if we are given this figure of net profit and we have to arrive at the cash from operation, so we have to adjust these items, we have to add these back because they have already been reduced from this figure. So that's why we added these back. I hope you have got this point. Okay, I hope you have got this point. Vijay is saying got that, sir. Nitin is saying not. What not? I'm not able to understand. For which question, Ashish, you are asking? We can always explain it again. Don't worry about it. तो यहाँ पे हमारे पास कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज हमें निकालना है. तो बहुत सीधा है, बहुत आसान है. शुरू में हमारे पास 35,000 कैश बैलेंस था. ऑपरेशन से 3,09,000 और जनरेट हो गया. फाइनेंसिंग में 30,000 यूज कर लिया. तो होना कितना चाहिए था क्लोजिंग बैलेंस हमारे पास? 3,14,000. बट एक्चुअली में हमें गिवन है कि क्लोजिंग बैलेंस इज 2,12,000. So the difference, this difference is going to be that cash which we have utilized in the investing activity. So this is going to be the difference. Okay, I hope you have got this now. I hope you have got this now. Okay, got it. Cash flow. Cash simply means the money in your business. We have already explained कि cash के अंदर आपका cash भी आता है और cash equivalents भी आते हैं. Nitin, I have already explained it again. Even if you have a query, so we can take it up at the end. Vijay is saying nicely explained, sir. Thank you, Vijay. I want to make sure कि आप सभी को समझ में आ जाए. I know these concepts can be tricky for those who are from a non-commerce background. So I'm trying to explain those in a very simple fashion, in a very logical fashion. So I'm getting the answer is option number B. Vijay, what sequence are you asking about? I'm getting the answers as option number B, 5,000. Nikhil is saying option number A. So let's try to understand this one. तो यहाँ पे हमसे पूछ रहे हैं income tax paid during the year. So we are being told कि income tax expense for the year it was 7,000. Opening में हमारे पास जो income tax liability था it was 5,000 and at the end income tax का liability है 3,000. So इसको बहुत सिंपल तरीके से समझते हैं. तो यहां पे मैं आपसे कहता हूं कि आपने ओपनिंग में साल के शुरू में अपने दोस्त को 5,000 रुपए देने थे. ओके, और मैंने यहां पे कहा कि आपने इस साल उससे 7,000 रुपए और ले लिए, 7,000 रुपए और ले लिए. तो आपको उसको कितने देने चाहिए थे? 12,000. बट आप मुझे कह रहे हैं कि साल के एंड में जो मैंने उसको अभी पे करना है, जो उसका बकाया है, the balance that is outstanding on part of that friend, it is only rupees 3,000. So this means you have already paid 9,000 during the year. 9,000 you have paid during the year. So this difference is going to be 9,000, and so answer is going to be option number A. So similarly you can relate it to the income tax expense कि opening balance हमें income tax का पे करना था 5,000, at the end of the year 3,000 पे करना है. हमारा इस साल का expense it was 7,000. So this difference of 9,000 is going to be the income tax paid during the year. So this is how you can relate to it. Yeah, so 9,000 is going to be the answer. सर्विस इंजीनियरिंग इज आस्किंग अबाउट कि कैश फ्लो भी जैसे आपने कल बैलेंस शीट एक्सप्लेन की थी वैसे ही एक्सप्लेन कीजिए. तो मैं आपको बता देता हूं जी, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. ओके, कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट से इतना घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है. सो दिस इज हाउ वी प्रिपेयर इट. तो कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट जब हम तैयार करते हैं, सो दिस इज हाउ वी डू इट. कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज कंप्यूट करते हैं, उसकी फिगर डालते हैं. कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज की फिगर डालते हैं, और कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटीज की फिगर डालते हैं. ओके, एंड बाय एडिंग दीज ऑल फिगर्स वी गेट द नेट कैश फ्लो ड्यूरिंग द ईयर. We get the net cash flow during the year. So net cash flow जो हमारे पास आएगा, if we add opening balance of cash to it, we are going to get the closing balance of cash. So this is how the statement is prepared. Not a big deal. This is how the statement is prepared. It's very simple to prepare it. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Now let's move on to the next question. Balance sheet of a company shows that the working capital of the concern has increased by rupees 383 lakhs. Which of the following statement would best explain the reason for such change? केशव महेश्वरी जी नाम जान के क्या करेंगे? Okay, Neeraj, you have definitely boosted my motivation. Neeraj is saying, sir, your way to explain is awesome. मजा आ रहा है क्लास में, मुझे भी मजा आ रहा है. तो ऐसे ही डिस्कस करते हैं सारे क्वेश्चंस को. चलिए, तो आंसर्स मेरे पास आ रहे हैं ऑप्शन नंबर ए और ऑप्शन नंबर बी के. तो कुछ लोग अभी कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट पे ही बैठे हुए हैं, बट सम पीपल दे हैव मूव्ड ऑन टू फंड फ्लो स्टेटमेंट, and now I am going to be with those people who have moved on to fund flow statement. So definitely the answer for this question is not going to be the cash flow statement. We have these two types of statements जो कि आपके सिलेबस में मेंशन्ड है. One is the cash flow statement, बहुत आसान है. We are concerned with the inflow and outflow of the cash during the year. We are basically trying to make a reconciliation कि opening में कितना कैश था and at the end of the year हमारे पास कितना कैश था. We are trying to do this reconciliation in cash flow statement. But now we already know कि जो accounting हम करते हैं it is done on accrual basis, not on cash basis. Okay, so a better statement which can explain the change in balance sheet of a company, it is going to be another statement which is fund flow statement. Okay, this fund flow statement is basically concerned with the movement of the working capital. Now you would be saying, sir, what is this working capital? Working capital is the capital which is normally utilized in the working of any company. It is computed by a very simple formula: current assets minus current liabilities. So if we'll take a look at the balance sheet of any company, how this balance sheet is going to look like. In this balance sheet, we are going to have non-current assets, we are going to have current assets, we are going to have capital, we are going to have non-current liability, and we are going to have the current liability. Okay, तो यहाँ पे capital और non-current liability और non-current assets, they are long-term items, and current assets and current liability, they are short-term item. They are normally related to the normal working of the entity, normal working of the company. So we are concerned with the difference between current assets and current liabilities. This is the working capital of the entity. तो कितना अमाउंट आपकी वर्किंग में लगा हुआ है, नॉर्मल वर्किंग में लगा हुआ है, दिस इज योर वर्किंग कैपिटल. एंड दिस चेंज इट इज एक्सप्लेन्ड बाय द फंड फ्लो स्टेटमेंट. सो आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन इज गोइंग टू बी ऑप्शन नंबर बी. ऑप्शन नंबर बी इज गोइंग टू बी द आंसर. Yes, Vijaya, answer is going to be option B, current assets minus current liabilities. Absolutely right. So चलिए जल्दी से let's move on to the next question. While preparing fund flow statement, which of the following would not be shown as source of fund? Let's see who can answer this one. तो यहां पे हम फंड फ्लो स्टेटमेंट प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं एंड वी आर बीइंग आस्क्ड कि इनमें से सोर्स ऑफ फंड कौन सा नहीं है. सो इफ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट फंड फ्लो स्टेटमेंट, तो कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट में मैं इनफ्लो और आउटफ्लो ऑफ कैश देख रहा था. तो अब यहां पे मैं क्या देखूंगा, यहां पे मैं देखूंगा इनफ्लो एंड आउटफ्लो ऑफ द फंड विच इज बेसिकली माय वर्किंग कैपिटल. सो देयर आर गोइंग टू बी सम सोर्सेज ऑफ द वर्किंग कैपिटल जहां से मुझे वर्किंग कैपिटल आ रहा है, एंड देयर आर गोइंग टू बी सम एप्लीकेशंस ऑफ द वर्किंग कैपिटल जहां पे मेरा वर्किंग कैपिटल लग रहा है, जा रहा है. सो कहां से आपको वर्किंग कैपिटल यहां पे नहीं आएगा ये आपसे पूछ रहे हैं. अगर आपने शेयर्स इशू किए, आई एम गेटिंग द आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर ई, सम आंसर्स इज बी एंड सी. सो लेट्स सी ई वाले करेक्ट है कि नहीं है. तो अगर आपने शेयर्स को इशू किया, तो आपके पास क्या आएगा, यू वुड गेट कैश और बैंक. So this is basically going to be your fund. This is a current asset. It is going to be your fund. It is going to be your working capital. If you have borrowed some money, you have done some long-term borrowings, तो यहाँ पे भी आपके पास क्या आएगा? You would get cash, you would get money, which is again part of your current asset, which is part of your working capital. So this is again going to be a fund inflow. Next is sale of fixed asset. If you are selling a fixed asset, again you would be getting money, which is part of current asset. Again, this is part of fund. Fund generated from operations. You have done some operations, you have sold the goods, you have like paid money for the goods, and ultimately you have generated money out of it. So this money which is generated is also a part of your fund. If you are paying the dividend, आपने dividend की payment करी, it means your cash, your bank balance is going to reduce, your current asset is going to reduce, and this is going to be an application of the fund. It is not a source of the fund, it is an application of the fund. So that's why answer is going to be option number E. Option number E is going to be the answer. Okay, I'm trying to use both English and Hindi because some of you are saying कि sir bilingual रहो, and some of you are saying कि sir English में explain करो. So let's try to use both of these languages. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I hope आपको समझ में आ गया. You have got this point कि payment of dividend is not a source of fund. It is rather an application of the fund. So this is how the fund flow statement looks like. On one side we have the sources of fund. So we are going to mention all those things, all those transactions from which we are going to get money, we are going to get working capital, we are going to get current assets. So issue of shares, debentures, long-term borrowing, sale of fixed assets, operating profits are going to come here. And here we are going to mention the application of the fund. Wherever you are spending your funds, if you are redeeming the shares, redeeming the debentures, you are paying a long-term loan, you are purchasing some fixed assets, you have made loss at operations, so they are all going to come here. And the difference is going to be your net increase or decrease in working capital. So let's suppose कि यहाँ पे if we total all these things, it comes out to 10 lakh. Okay, and if we talk about these things, application of funds, it comes out to 8 lakh. It comes out to 8 lakh. So now हमें 10 lakh का inflow हुआ. 10 lakh is the amount of funds that we got, and 8 lakh is the application of funds that we have made during the year. So the difference between the two, that is 2 lakh, is basically going to be the working capital that has increased. So 10 lakh के funds हमारे पास आए, 8 lakh के we applied. So the difference of 2 lakh is going to be increase in the funds, and fund basically means the working capital. So this is going to be increase in working capital. Okay, so this is going to be increase in working capital. Service engineering पूछ रहे हैं कि how long term borrowing is a fund. So long term borrowing अगर आप करेंगे, what you are going to get? Sir, if we are going to borrow, we are going to get money. We are going to get money na, and this money, this cash, this bank balance is a part of your current asset, and this current asset is part of your working capital. And fund का मतलब ही working capital होता है. So try to understand this thing. Na. So that's why the answer is option E. So guys, we have solved 10 questions. If you are able to understand them, just let me know in the chat box. If you want me to go slow, we can go further slow. But I want all of you guys to understand all the concepts. Now these concepts can be tricky for some people. Next question is, which of the following is true about fund flow statement? Fund flow statement. Okay, service engineering is saying, sir, go slow. Okay, we will go slow, don't worry about it. But I want your 100% concentration here. I understand these are technical concepts. So it's going to take some time to absorb all these concepts. Option number D is the answer that I am getting from all of you. So I believe आप सभी को समझ में आ रहा है fund flow statement के बारे में. So fund flow statement, as I've already told to you, कि it is based on the accrual accounting concept. तो accrual accounting हम concept जो है follow करते हैं practice में. We are talking about recording the transactions as and when they occur, rather than when the cash payment is done or when the cash is received. So this accrual accounting system is followed by us in practice, and this is what is depicted by this fund flow statement. The fund flow statement analyzes the sources and application of the fund. We have already seen how this statement is prepared. On one side we are putting sources, and on the other side we are putting application. The fund flow statement analysis helps the management to test whether the working capital has been effectively used or not. So this fund flow statement is basically concerned with the working capital only. Okay, so all these statements, they are true. So answer is going to be option number D. All of the above are true. Answer is going to be option number D. All of the above are true. Yes, Rishabh, cash flow statement can also give you insight about the working capital changes, but this fund flow statement is specifically prepared to analyze the changes in working capital. Okay. Thank you, Tejaswini. So now let's move to the next question. Which of the following aspects of the accounting transactions or events are covered by the accounting standards? So I have already told you about the accounting standards, how we have tried to standardize the process of accounting. Now don't worry, we have some simple questions coming in for you guys. Right, Rishabh, we do take those also. We do consider those also. But this fund flow statement is specifically for working capital. So I'm getting the answer is option number E. Sonia, Amit, Nikhil, Anuradha, Pooja, all are saying option number E is the answer. So accounting standard, why did we formulate these accounting standards? Because we wanted to standardize the process of accounting. We wanted that every company in this country, whether it's Reliance, whether it's Infosys, whether it's Tata, it should be following a uniform set of accounting principles. So that's why we came up with the concept of accounting standards, and they are going to provide you guidance about recognition of the transaction, whether any transaction is to be recognized, recorded in the books of accounts. So if it is to be recorded, at what amount it is to be recorded, how it is to be presented in the financial statements, whether it is to be shown in the balance sheet, whether it is to be shown in your profit and loss, how it is to be shown in the balance sheet, whether it as a non-current item or whether as a current item, and if any extra disclosure is to be done. For example, for inventory, for the stock that we are having, we make this separate disclosure कि जो stock है, it is being valued at the cost or the realizable value which is less. So all these disclosures, they are also made with the financial statements. So accounting standards से हमें पता चलता है what all disclosures we have to make. So all these aspects, they are part of the accounting standards. So answer is going to be option number E. If application of funds is higher and sources are less, then it is going to result in the decrease of working capital. Okay, we are going to call it decrease in working capital. Yeah. So now let's come to the next question. Which of the following accounting standard has been withdrawn pursuant to revision of accounting standard 10, property, plant and equipment? Yes, Utkarsh, we are going to talk about AS9 revenue recognition as well. Don't worry about it. I'm getting the answer is option number B from Utkarsh, Nilesh, Vinayak, Anupama. And you guys have absolutely nailed this question. This answer is absolutely correct. Accounting standard 6. Earlier we had two accounting standards. One accounting standard we had specifically for depreciation. It was the AS6 depreciation, and AS10 we had for fixed assets, non-current assets. We call it property, plant and equipment, PPE. This is the term we use. Okay, so now accounting standard 10, it was revised, and we came to know that this depreciation is related to fixed assets only. So why to have two separate accounting standards related to fixed assets? So now we have abolished this accounting standard 6, and we only have this accounting standard 10, which is related to your fixed assets, property, plant and equipment. So earlier there were 29 accounting standards which had been issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So this is the institute which is concerned with the issuing of the accounting standards. Now accounting standard 6, it has been withdrawn, and similarly accounting standard 8 has also been withdrawn. So right now effectively there are 27 accounting standards at present. So effective accounting standards presently, they are only 27. So this is also something which you should remember. So answer to this question is going to be accounting standard 6. and I don't know what has gone wrong with my laptop. So we were talking about, yeah, we were on this question. Okay. Yeah. So we were on this question. Yeah. So let's come to the next question. Let's come to the next question. Dash are IFRS confers standards which has been issued by the central government of India under the supervision and control of the Accounting Standard Board of ICAI and in consultation with NFRA. Nisha is asking, do we need to practice the numerical questions on AS10? Yes, you can practice some of the questions, but you need not go into deep. You need not practice the questions in detail, but yes, you should have some clarity about how to compute depreciation. So I'm getting the answer is option number C, Ind AS. So let's try to understand. So earlier I explained to you the concept of accounting standards because we wanted कि हमारे इंडिया में जो भी companies हैं, all these companies, they should have a standard set of accounting practices. So that's why we came up with accounting standards. And now the globalization, it is happening, and so that's why we wanted ki whatever financial statements they are being prepared in India, they should be comparable at the global level. So we wanted to make sure कि जो हमारे accounting standards हैं, they are aligned with the international accounting standards, the international financial reporting standards. And in order to align our accounting standards with the international standards, the central government, it consulted with ICAI, it consulted with the Accounting Standard Board of ICAI, it consulted with NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority, and they came up with a new concept of Ind AS. Okay, so Ind AS and AS, they are two different things. This is something you have to remember कि AS and Ind AS, there are two separate things. So आपका accounting standard 3 cash flow statement का था, but Ind AS 3 is not cash flow statement, it is going to be something else. So here answer is going to be option number C, Ind AS. So here is the list of all the Ind AS that are there. So here you can see कि आपका जो Ind AS 7 है, it deals with the cash flow statement. हमारा AS3 कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट से डील कर रहा था, बट इंड AS7 कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट से डील कर रहा है. तो इंड AS की जो नंबरिंग हमने रखी हुई है, दिस नंबरिंग इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स. Okay, it's not on the basis of the domestic, the national level accounting standards that we have. So this is something that you have to remember. Right? Yes, AS10 आपका इंड AS16 से रिलेटेड है. It's very right. GAAP, it basically refers to generally accepted accounting principles. Okay, so these are the accounting principles which have been generally accepted worldwide. Now let's come to the next question. We are all going to be proud only after we crack the SEBI examination. Nothing before that. Even if anyone is like a master in their field, but they still have to excel in all the fields to crack the SEBI examination. And this is what we are trying to accomplish here, guys. Service engineering, you need not remember all the Ind AS. I would recommend the Ind AS which are related to the topics which are mentioned in your syllabus. Like in your syllabus, we have valuation of inventory, revenue recognition, fixed assets, forex rates, and investment. So these Ind AS you can learn. But remembering all the Ind AS, it can be really difficult for you. So these are something which you must learn. Uske alawa, if you want to learn, you can learn those. Otherwise, you can skip those. I'm getting the answer as option number D. AS13 गलत है. Yes, Sonia has rightly pointed out कि AS13 is related to investment, and Nilesh has pointed me कि sir AS11 जो है, it is related to the foreign exchange. So guys, you are absolutely correct here. So this is the list of the accounting standards, and accounting standards which you have to specifically remember for your examination. Like AS2 you have to remember related to valuation of inventory, AS3 related to the cash flow statement, AS9 related to revenue recognition, AS10 related to property, plant and equipment, your fixed assets, AS11 is related to the foreign exchange rates, AS13 is related to the accounting for investment. Okay, so these are the accounting standards which you have to specifically remember for your examination. So here the answer is going to be option number D, because AS 11 is related to foreign exchange rates and AS 13 is related to investments. So guys, we have discussed 40 questions till now. Including what we did yesterday. So if you are able to understand these questions, if you are able to get new things in your mind, just quickly give me a heads up in the chat box so that I can understand कि हमें क्लास का कुछ benefit हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा. So just give me a quick heads up in the chat box, a quick thumbs up in the chat box if you are able to understand all these questions. I know कि शुरू में जो cash flow statement वाला part discuss किया, it was a bit technical, though I have tried to explain in a very simplified manner. And if you watch the video again after the class, you would be able to understand it. And even if you have any query after that, you can post it in the comment section. I will be happy to answer that as well. Yes, this is the motivation I was looking for. Sonia, Vijaya, Vinayak, Krishna, Vinay, Monica, all of you. Now, thank you very much for your support. Now, with this support, let's move to the next question. Let's up the level. We have the next question. A Limited has inventory of soaps costing rupees 80,000 and these can be sold in the market for rupees 90,000 after paying a commission of 20% on sales price. The value of inventory as per accounting standard 2 is going to be. Thank you guys for the amazing support that you have shown in the chat box. Thank you guys for this support. Most welcome, Neeraj. A big thumbs up from my side as well. It's happy to see an audience like this which is responding on each and every question. Even if you are not aware of the answer, you should try to answer it, because once you make a mistake here, you are not going to repeat that mistake in the examination hall. So even if you don't know about it, you are not sure about it, you should try to make a guess, you should try to answer that particular question. I'm getting the answer as option number D. Amazing, brilliant answers. I was not expecting कि इतने सारे correct answers आएंगे, but all these, they are absolutely correct. So the cost of the soaps that we have, it is rupees 80,000. Okay, and I can sell these soaps at rupees 90,000. But to sell these soaps at 90,000, I would have to pay a commission of 20%. So 90,000 का 20% कितना हुआ? 18,000 हुआ. So ultimately I am going to realize 90 minus 18, 72,000 from the sale of these soaps. Now in accounting, we have this wonderful concept which is called conservatism. We talk about conservative families. Okay, we talk about conservative families. So this concept in accounting is similar to that only. So conservatism में we are basically saying कि if you are expecting any gain, don't recognize it in the books of accounts. But if you are expecting any loss, you should make a provision for it. So आपको ज़्यादा नहीं दिखाना, आपको कम दिखाना है. So अगर आपको लग रहा है कि आप इन्वेंट्री जो है 80,000 की आपकी कॉस्ट कर रही है, हो सकता है 80,000 से ऊपर आप इसे बेच सके, but still, if the realizable value is only 72,000, you cannot record it at 80,000. You have to record the inventory at the lower of cost or market price. So that's why we have to record it at 72,000. हमें ज़्यादा नहीं दिखाना, हमें जो कम है हमें कंजर्वेटिव रहना है, और इसीलिए हमें 72,000 पे इसे शो करना है. So that's why the answer is going to be option number D. Right, lower of cost or net realizable value. Now another question, अगर आपको पिछला क्वेश्चन समझ में आ गया, I believe you would be able to answer this question as well. You will be able to answer this question as well. Service engineering, it is clearly mentioned that the commission of 20% is on sales price. Okay, so that's why we have done it. चलिए, तो यहाँ पे आपको इन्वेंट्री की वैल्यू करना है. यहाँ पे 20% का कोई रोल नहीं है, मैंने आपको सिंपली सारी वैल्यूज दे दी हैं. तो इन्वेंट्री की वैल्यू कैसे की जाए, आइए मैं आपके लिए इन्वेंट्री की वैल्यू करता हूं. तो यहाँ पे हमें बताया कि ए, बी और सी तीन आइटम्स हमारे पास हैं, 40, 32 एंड 16. तो इसका टोटल कितना हो गया? 88 लाख हो गई कॉस्ट. नेट रियलाइजेबल वैल्यू कितनी हो गई? 60 एंड 24, 84. तो मेरे हिसाब से आंसर होना चाहिए 84 लाख. कौन कौन मेरे से एग्री करता है? कौन कौन मेरे से एग्री करता है? लेट्स सी who all are agreeing with me on this one कि आंसर 84 लाख होना चाहिए. Most of you are not agreeing. Most of you are saying answer should be 76 lakh. I know you are more brilliant than me. You have got the point that I was trying to explain. Right, right, Ashish. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. No one got confused like me. So this is really good. This is really good to see. This is really good to see कि whenever we have different items A, B and C, whenever we have different items, we are going to talk about cost or NRV, whichever is less, on an item by item basis. So for item A, cost or NRV, whichever is less, it is 28 lakh. For item B, 32 in both. So 32 is something that we are going to write here. 16 or 24, whichever is less, so it is going to be 16. So this is how the inventory is going to be valued. So total is going to be 76 lakhs. So answer is going to be option number C. So answer is going to be option number C. Okay, line by line check करना है, overall नहीं check करना. This is what I wanted you to this is what I wanted you to know. कि आपको overall check नहीं करना. You have to check on an item by item basis. Okay, item by item basis आपको check करना है. This is something you have to remember. Okay, don't forget this thing कि आपको global basis नहीं follow करना. You have to check on an item by item basis. So that's why the answer is option number C. Right, item to item basis. So this is something that you have to know. This is something that you have to know, and that's why I was deliberately doing it wrong. You'd be wondering कि सर गलत क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं? गलत नहीं पढ़ा रहा. I wanted कि आपको पता लग जाए कि ऐसी गलती नहीं करनी है. Next question. Accounting standard 9 is applicable to revenue or gain arising from. Yes, Ashish, we have taken it from that. Let's see कि किनको याद है अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 9 किससे रिलेटेड है, किनको याद है? I am amazed, I am surprised to see कि कोई भी आंसर ऑप्शन ई नहीं दे रहा है. No one is saying option E. Why you are not saying option E? All of these are your incomes. Yes, Keshav Maheshwari, option E कह रहे हैं. So there is one person who is with me. No, and all of you are saying option number D should be the answer. So guys, this is accounting standard 9. Accounting standard 9, it deals with basically your revenue. So whatever money you are earning in the business from selling the goods, from rendering of the services, like we are rendering education services here, and from interest, dividend and royalty. So all these incomes, they are covered under accounting standard 9. So accounting standard 9 is covered with only these items: sale of goods, services, interest, dividend, royalty. Okay, it is not applicable to these transactions. It is not applicable to the following transactions: construction contract, because we have a separate accounting standard. Accounting standard 7 is related to it. Revenue from hire purchase and leases, we have a separate accounting standard for leases as well. We have a separate accounting standard for government grants as well. And also the insurance companies ka revenue, it is also not part of this accounting standard. It is done as per the rules issued by IRDA. Okay, so all these, they are not part of the accounting standard 9. They are outside the scope of accounting standard 9. This is something you have to remember, you have to learn कि accounting standard 9 talks about revenue, and this revenue from sale of goods, services and interest, dividend and royalty. So this is something that you have to learn. तो आंसर यहाँ पे होगा ऑप्शन नंबर डी का. Most of you guys have answered it correctly. Most of you guys have answered it correctly. राइट, उत्कर्ष ने बता भी दिए कि सर अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 7 आपका कंस्ट्रक्शन से है, 12 आपका 19 आपका लीजेस से है और 12 आपका गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट से है. हाँ बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल उत्कर्ष. सीए साहब हमारे हैं तो इनको सब मालूम है. चलिए फटाफट से इस क्वेश्चन पे आते हैं और लेट्स सी कि इफ उत्कर्ष इज एबल टू आंसर दिस वन. आई एम बेटिंग ऑन उत्कर्ष फॉर दिस आंसर. लेट्स सी इफ उत्कर्ष इज एबल टू मीट माई aspirations. When uncertainty of collection of revenue arises subsequently after the revenue recognition, what should we do? So let me try to explain this with an example. So what happened was, we were talking about Gada Electronics yesterday, right? So Gada Electronics में क्या हुआ कि जेठालाल दुकान पे नहीं थे. On the shop, what happened is कि सुंदरलाल, you know Sundarlal, he came to the shop, he got one mobile from Nattu Kaka and told him कि he is going to pay the money later on. Okay, so Nattu Kaka recorded it as sales, he recognized it as a revenue, but later on Jethalal came to the shop. So now what he is going to say to Nattu Kaka? He is going to say कि यहाँ से revenue आने वाला नहीं है. There is uncertainty of the collection of the revenue. So Nattu Kaka, you should better make a provision for uncertainty in the collection. So you should better make a provision for uncertainty in the collection. Most of you guys are saying option B, but some of you are also saying option number A. उत्कर्ष ने क्या आंसर दिया? उत्कर्ष का तो आंसर ही नहीं आया. Utkarsh, I was waiting for you. I was betting on you. You have let me down. And now Utkarsh has answered it. Okay, option number B. So Jethalal is going to tell Nattu Kaka कि better make a provision for it, क्योंकि यहाँ से पैसा मुझे नहीं लगता आने वाला है. So let's see what the accounting standard has to say about this one. So accounting standard says when uncertainty of the collection of revenue arises subsequently after the revenue recognition, it is better to make a provision. So आपने revenue recognize already कर लिया, and now uncertainty arises, you should make a provision rather than adjustment in the already recognized revenue. तो already recognized revenue पे कांटा मत मारो. Do not cut that figure. Do not adjust that figure. It's better to make a separate provision for the uncertainty in collection. Okay. It's better to make a separate provision for uncertainty in the collection. So that's why the answer is going to be option number B here. So this question is to be answered as per the accounting standard 9. Now let's come to accounting standard 10. Let's see कि accounting standard 10 के बारे में किसको कितना मालूम है. Utkarsh, I want you to be the first one to answer this question. Utkarsh is retracting his messages. I don't know why he's doing that. Accounting standard 10 deals with. I'm looking for answers here. I already told you it deals with property, plant and equipment. But what kind of property, plant and equipment? So this is something you have to answer. Nilesh, Nisha, Anupama, Vinay, all of you are saying option number A. You guys are really cool. You guys already know all the things. Option number A is the answer that I am getting. No one is saying option number E. I don't know why I tried to like make this option number E. एक भी confused नहीं हुआ. Yes, one person got confused. Only one person got confused. Okay, so let me try to explain this thing to you. Accounting standard 10, it deals with property, plant and equipment. It deals with fixed assets. Now these fixed assets, they can be of two types, one tangible and other intangible. So I already explained to you yesterday as well कि furniture, machinery, all these things you can touch, you can see, you can feel. So these things, they come under the tangible items, and this is what the accounting standard 10 talks about. For intangible items like goodwill, patent, copyright, so for all these items we have a separate accounting standard, which is accounting standard 26. They do not come under the purview of accounting standard 10. So now this accounting standard 10 talks about the property, plant, equipment, the fixed assets which are held for using in the production. So machinery that you are having, for renting it to others, if you are having some machinery which you are going to rent to others, for administrative purpose, the furniture that you are going to have, and which are going to be used for more than 12 months. Okay, so 12 months से ज़्यादा अगर आप उसको use करने वाले हैं, एक साल से ज़्यादा अगर आप उसको use करने वाले हैं, so it is going to be classified as a fixed asset under accounting standard 10. So answer is definitely option number A. Right. Anshu is saying elimination method से easy है ये. Okay. You can do by that method which feels easier to you. Depreciation ceases to be charged when is not going to be charged. Okay, by ceases I mean to say stops. Depreciation is not charged when residual value, carrying amount, all these terms, they are being utilized here. Now suppose I got this machinery for 1,10,000. Okay, and at the end of 5 years I am going to sell it at rupees 10,000. So the cost of the machinery, it was 1,10,000, and the residual value after 5 years, it is 10,000. So ultimately my cost is going to be 1 lakh. कि 10,000 का तो मैं इसे बेच दूंगा. So ultimately 1 lakh is going to be my cost, and 1 lakh is something that I have to write off over a period of 5 years. I can maybe write off 20,000 every year. So this is how I can do it. I'm getting the answers as option number A and B. A और B में confusion जो है वो चालू है. So let's see किसके आंसर यहाँ पे करेक्ट होने वाले हैं. So 20,000 I am writing it off every year. 20,000 I am writing it off every year. Okay. So at the end of the 5th year, what is going to be my value? My value is going to be 10,000. Okay. So 1,10,000 का था, every year I charge 20,000 for 5 years, and at the end of the 5th year the value of the machinery in my balance sheet is only going to be 10,000. Okay, so now I am trying to again levy depreciation on it. If I try to levy depreciation on it, then the amount is going to even go below 10,000. Okay, Nattu Kaka is going to stop me. Jethalal was charging depreciation, but Nattu Kaka stopped him. Nattu Kaka told him कि सेठ जी आप क्या कर रहे हो? 10,000 is the amount which we are going to realize by selling this asset. आप इसे और ज्यादा depreciate मत करो. Okay, तो अगर आपका जो carrying amount है, carrying amount हमारा क्या है यहाँ पे? Carrying amount is 10,000. ओके, आपका जो रेजिडुअल वैल्यू क्या है? रेजिडुअल वैल्यू इज अगेन 10,000. तो हमें अपने कैरिंग अमाउंट को रेजिडुअल वैल्यू से नीचे नहीं जाने देना है. कैरिंग अमाउंट को रेजिडुअल वैल्यू से नीचे नहीं जाने देना है. ठीक है, अगर आपका रेजिडुअल वैल्यू ज्यादा है और कैरिंग अमाउंट कम है तो वहां पे आपको रुक जाना है. तो 10,000 से नीचे हमें जाना नहीं है, वहां पे डेप्रीसिएशन को रोक देना है, और इसीलिए आंसर इज गोइंग टू बी ऑप्शन नंबर ए. 10,000 से नीचे हमें जाना नहीं है, इसीलिए हमें वहां पे डेप्रीसिएशन को रोक देना है. तो आपकी जो रेजिडुअल वैल्यू है, यहां पे कितनी रेजिडुअल वैल्यू हमारी थी? 10,000. कैरिंग अमाउंट हमारा कितना आ रहा था? 10,000. कैरी, इससे नीचे हमें जा नहीं सकते, इससे नीचे जा नहीं सकते. 9,000 का मैं उसे दिखा नहीं सकता, बिकॉज मैं उसे 10,000 का सेल कर सकता हूं. ओके, सो आई हैव टू स्टॉप चार्जिंग डेप्रीसिएशन. सो दैट्स व्हाई आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर ए. कैरिंग अमाउंट पूछ रहे हैं. सो कैरिंग अमाउंट 1,10,000 is what I spent on the asset. At the end of the year 1, I have charged 20,000 depreciation. So at the end of the year, the carrying amount is going to be 90,000. This is at the end of the year 1. Similarly, at the end of the year 2, the carrying amount is going to be 70,000. And similarly, 50, 30 and 10,000. This is the carrying amount. Okay, this is the carrying amount. Utkarsh, let's not talk about impairment loss and all those things. Okay, let's try to stick to the topics which are specifically mentioned in the syllabus. So next question we have, again related to the concept of fixed assets under written down value method of depreciation. So let's see who all can answer this one. केशव जी, आप जाना चाहते हैं आप जा सकते हैं. इट्स नो कंपल्शन. आई हैव नॉट लॉक्ड यू इन अ रूम कि आपको क्लास देखना ही पड़ेगा. यू कैन गो whenever you wish to. I am willing to continue till all of you guys are interested. I am getting the answer is option number B from Nilesh, Vinayak, Nikhil, Anupama. All of you are saying option number B. So let's try to understand. So हमारे पास दो मेन मेथड हैं डेप्रीसिएशन चार्ज करने के. कौन कौन से मेथड है? One is the straight line method and the other one is the written down value method. So straight line method के अंदर हम क्या करते हैं? We charge same amount of depreciation every year. Like in the previous example, we were charging 20,000 every year. So this is straight line method. Same amount of depreciation we are going to charge every year. And next is the written down value method, WDV method. यहाँ पे क्या करने वाले हैं? यहाँ पे हमारी asset की जो carrying amount होगा, we are going to charge depreciation on the carrying amount of that asset. How we are going to do? We are going to identify a rate. So let's suppose we identified a rate 20%. Okay, so 1 lakh को हमें depreciate करना है. So in first year we are going to charge 1 lakh का 20% is depreciation, that is 20,000. So ultimately this 80,000 is going to come. Okay, and in the next year we are again going to charge 20%. 20% on what? 20% on 80,000. So this is what we are going to do. 80,000 का 20% करेंगे. So the figure is going to come out to 64,000. Now again in the next year we are going to do 20% of the written down value of the carrying amount, that is 64,000. इसका 20% करेंगे और हमारे पास next written down value आएगा. And then again we are going to continue charging depreciation at the same rate. So if I talk about the amount of depreciation, in first year it was 20,000, in the next year it was 16,000. So amount of depreciation it has decreased. But if I talk about the rate of depreciation, this rate of depreciation is 20% in all the years. So rate of depreciation it remains the same. Amount of depreciation it decreases every year. Okay, so amount of depreciation is going to decrease. That's why A is not going to be the answer, D is not going to be the answer, and correct answer is going to be option number B. So this is how you have to remember. Okay, yes, we have a percentage which remains fixed under WDV method. चलिए फटाफट से आते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे. दिस नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज रिलेटेड टू फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रेट. Many students, they are afraid of this particular concept. They do not want to know about the forex rates. जैसे ही क्वेश्चन में डॉलर दिखता है वैसे ही दिमाग बंद हो जाता है. तो ऐसा है क्या? आई होप ऐसा नहीं है और ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. आई एम गोइंग टू ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन दिस थिंग इन अ वेरी सिंपल फैशन. उत्कर्ष इज सेइंग आईपीसीसी कोचिंग वाले दिन याद आ गए. नॉस्टैल्जिया फीलिंग आ गई लगता है. This is something which accountants have to decide. You need not worry about it. Sometimes in the statute itself is mentioned what kind of depreciation is to be charged. For example, income tax के अंदर we have to charge depreciation on written down value basis. Okay. So this is going to be as per the rules, the statute. You do not need to worry about it. The question is going to tell you कि which method is to be applied. Don't worry about it. Okay. So let's try to solve this question. So 1st January 2021. I have a business and like I'm very crazy about iPhones, so I got this iPhone and I got it from abroad because it said कि आपको बाहर से cheaper मिल जाएगा, सस्ता मिल जाएगा. So I got it for $500, but I did not have the money in my pocket to pay for it. So ultimately I got it on credit. Okay, I was able to get credit from abroad. Okay, so $500 का मैंने iPhone purchase किया. On that day the exchange rate was $1 is equal to rupees 70. So now I am going to record iPhone in my books of accounts. Okay, this iPhone is going to be there in my books of accounts as a non-current asset. I am going to use it for more than 1 year. Definitely, this is a costly phone. Okay, iPhone is going to come at 35,000. And similarly, I have not paid for it. I have got it from Mr. John on credit. Okay, I am going to say कि Mr. John को I have to pay 35,000. So Mr. John is going to be my liability. He is basically going to be my creditor, and to Mr. John I have to pay rupees 35,000. Okay, now when 31st March 2021 came, 31st March 2021, I had to prepare my balance sheet. This is the balance sheet date. So I was preparing my balance sheet and I was looking at my liabilities. Okay, so there was this liability of John. Okay, this John liability, it was standing for 35,000. Okay, now I asked my accountant कि अगर मैं John को आज पे करना चाहूँ, how much amount I would have to pay him. So now he told me कि आपको आज का एक्सचेंज रेट देखना पड़ेगा. So आज का एक्सचेंज रेट हमने देखा 31st मार्च 2021 का, इट वाज $1 इज इक्वल टू ₹60. तो अब मुझे कितने पे करने हैं? जॉन को आई हैव टू पे $500. So $500 को अगर मैं रुपीस में कन्वर्ट करूं at ₹60, this is going to come out to how much? Sir, this is going to come out to 30,000. I am very happy कि 35,000 I had to pay, but now I only have to pay 30,000. So what amount I should show in my balance sheet? I want you guys to answer whether I should show 35,000 in my balance sheet or 30,000 in my balance sheet. 30,000 is आज का value. 35,000 is the original value at which I recorded the transaction. Balance sheet has to depict the actual picture of the company, the actual picture of the organization, not some fake picture. So if I have to pay Mr. John today, I will only have to pay 30,000. So whether I should show it at 35,000 or 30,000 is better. I want you guys to answer it कि कौन से value पे I should show it, whether 35,000 or 30,000. Let's see who is able to answer. Let's see who is able to answer. Pardon me for handwriting if you are not able to understand. Anuradha, Vinayak, Vinay, Anshu, everyone in unison is saying 30,000 is the amount that you should use here, because this is the actual liability. This is my actual liability. So 30,000 should be the amount of the liability. So I showed it at 35,000, but actually I have to pay only 30,000. So what is my 5,000? This 5,000 is my income. This is the gain that I have made. Okay, this is the gain that I have made. Now this gain of 35,000 belongs to which financial year? Sir, it belongs to financial year ending 31st March 2021. But this question is asking about financial year ending 31st March 2022. This question is asking about financial year ending 31st March 2022. So I would have to go to next year as well. It is not asking about 5,000, it is asking about next year. So let's go to next year. So next year में क्या होने वाला है? Let's try to solve it. तो मैंने जॉन को 30,000 पे रिकॉर्ड किया अपनी बैलेंस शीट में. ओके, अब नेक्स्ट ईयर में क्या हो रहा है? नेक्स्ट ईयर में I have made the payment actually on 7/8/2021. 7/8/2021 को I have actually made the payment of $500. And मेरी किस्मत देखो कितनी अच्छी है. See how lucky I am. सो वहां पे एक्सचेंज रेट हो गया आपका $1 इज इक्वल टू ₹55. सो हाउ मच एक्चुअली आई हैव टू पे टू मिस्टर जॉन? सो मिस्टर जॉन को मुझे एक्चुअली पे करना है 500 इंटू $55, यानी कि this would come out to 27,500. I had shown my liability as 30,000, but I have to only pay 27,500. So this 2,500 is going to be my gain. This 2,500 is going to be my gain for the financial year ending 31st March 2022. Okay, so this is going to be my gain for financial year ending 31st March 2022. I can understand your emotions here, CA Rohit Paliwal, but this is what the accounting standard tells us to do, and this is what we have to do. This is not something I am deciding on my own. This is what the accounting standard is telling me to do. I have to follow the law of the land. So that's why I would have to do like this. Okay, so that's why I have to do like this. So this is how the answer is going to be 2,500. I hope all of you have got this concept. Now you would not be stuck in any question relating to exchange rates. I hope you have got this concept. Okay. सर आपने जॉन का वैल्यू चेंज किया, आपने आईफोन का वैल्यू नहीं चेंज किया, क्योंकि आईफोन की जो वैल्यू इट इज अ फिक्स्ड एसेट, आई एम गोइंग टू डेप्रिशिएट इट. एक्चुअल में पेमेंट मुझे जॉन को करना है, सो इसीलिए मैंने जॉन का वैल्यू चेंज किया. ओके, आई नो कि आपको बाद में ये डाउट आएगा, सो आई हैव ऑलरेडी ट्राइड टू रिजॉल्व इट हियर ओनली. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव टू डू. सबको समझ में आया तो लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन अगर आपको समझ में आया. नाउ इट्स टाइम टू मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. As per accounting standard 13, the carrying amount for long term investment is. बताइए जी, लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए कैरिंग अमाउंट आपका क्या होने वाला है? We can have two types of investments. One is the short term investment and other one is the long term investment. Short term investment आप उनको बहुत ही जल्दी बेचने वाले हैं, सेल करने वाले हैं. ओके, ग्रेट. फटाफट से आंसर्स आने शुरू हो गए हैं ऑप्शन नंबर ए के. सर पिछला छोड़ो, अगला वाला तो हमें फटाफट से आ गया. एवरीवन इज सेइंग ऑप्शन नंबर ए एक्सेप्ट वन विच इज ऑप्शन सी. एवरीवन इज सेइंग ऑप्शन नंबर ए. तो यहां पे आपने जो शॉर्ट टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है, आप उस इन्वेस्टमेंट को कभी भी बेच देंगे. ओके, यू आर गोइंग टू सेल इट बिफोर द एंड ऑफ द ईयर. द लाइफ इज गोइंग टू बी लेस देन 1 ईयर. तो ऐसे जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं, यू शुड वैल्यू दीज इन्वेस्टमेंट्स एट द लोअर ऑफ द कॉस्ट और द फेयर वैल्यू और द मार्केट वैल्यू. बट जो आपने लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट किया हुआ है, आप उसे अपनी किताबों में किस पे लिखने वाले हैं? बताइए जी. सर जो लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट हमने किए हुए हैं उनको हमने बेचना तो है नहीं, तो इसीलिए हम यहां पे उनको जो कैरी करेंगे हमारी बुक्स के अंदर, वो किस पे कैरी करेंगे? सर हम उन्हें कॉस्ट पे कैरी करेंगे. I don't know what's wrong today with my laptop. Yeah, so answer is going to be option number A. We are going to carry them at their cost. Now let's come to the next question. ABC Limited wants to reclassify a portion of the current investments purchased for rupees 20 lakh as long-term investment. As the company has decided to retain them. तो ABC Limited ने एक शॉर्ट टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट किया था, उस पर 20 लाख उन्होंने स्पेंड किया था. अब कंपनी ने डिसाइड किया, नाउ इट इज गोइंग टू कीप इट फॉर अ लॉन्ग टर्म. द मार्केट वैल्यू एज ऑन द डेट ऑफ बैलेंस शीट इट वाज रुपीज 25 लाख. ओके, द मार्केट वैल्यू वी आर गिवन 25 लाख. तो हमें जो लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट को ट्रांसफर करना चाहिए, किस वैल्यू पे करना चाहिए? आई हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन्ड इट टू यू गाइस. सो आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग करेक्ट आंसर्स फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ यू हियर. आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग कि सभी के करेक्ट आंसर्स आने चाहिए. So everyone is saying option number A should be the answer. I think Vijaya is saying CA. Okay. Option number A. Everyone is saying option number A. Vartika is saying 25 lakh kar lo. So 25 lakh is not something we are going to do. Remember, we are conservative, and here accounting standard tells us to be conservative. Here accounting standard is not telling us कि आप market value की तरफ जाओ. Here accounting standard is telling us कि be conservative. तो जब भी आप अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को रिक्लासिफाई कर रहे हो, तो यहां पे कहा गया कि आपको लोअर ही आपको लेना है. सो 20 लाख हमें यहां पे लेना है. सो 20 लाख इज गोइंग टू बी द अमाउंट. सो दिस इज व्हाट द अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड हैज टू से. accounting standard 13 is related to investments. I have already given you the list of all the accounting standards, and I hope you would like learn the list. You would try to remember all the accounting standards. So guys, this was all about our today's discussion. I hope you got to know some new points. I know some parts they were tricky, they were technical, but I would suggest you to watch them again and you would definitely understand those as well. Ashwini is following us on a different channel, so Ashwini has cleared MS set examination, so many congratulations for that. I would like to like you to see your response on my mail on that channel only, Ashwini. Okay, that would be really good for us as a motivation. Most welcome Nilesh, Anshu, Anupama, Tech and Games, Vijaya, Shivan, most welcome. This was really good to discuss all these questions with you. I hope you are going to come tomorrow. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि बहुत डर गए. I hope you are not afraid of all these concepts. I hope I am going to see you tomorrow. Utkarsh has qualified sheriff. Many congratulations, Utkarsh. Most welcome, Nitin, Shipra, Shriram, Neeraj, Vijay. Yes, definitely it's important. Thank you. Yes, I am Vijay. Most welcome Ashwini, Nikhil, Sarita, Amit, Kavya, Irfan. It was really good tuning in with you guys today and discussing all these aspects. I hope they are going to be beneficial for your examination. I hope we get to see many questions from these aspects that we have discussed today. And exactly I'm going to show you in the Sunday session that the questions which have been asked previously in SEBI and PFRD exam, they are of this level only. And if you have understood these concepts, you would be easily able to solve the next SEBI or PFRDA exam. Most welcome Krishna. Thank you for your compliment. Thank you Vijay. I also hope to see you tomorrow. Most welcome Irfan, Kavya, Kiran, Swarnali, Krishna, Utkarsh. So I should now end this particular session. I wish you all the best. Bye. Take care. All the best.